So the off-season's here, so of course we'll start tinkering with stuff. There were no rule changes for 2025. Hasn't been anything for 2026 yet. If you could change anything, what would you change?
I'd like to think, in these chats we've had that I've managed to keep a lot of emotion out of it.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some emotion coming here. There's a few rules that I'm absolutely sick of. The first one would be the 6 again rule. I absolutely hate it. So I was watching it this year and I just thought, so originally it was brought in all the way down the field, the ref would give 6 more. And then they said, well, it's a bit of a disadvantage giving away on play 1 after a kick chase. So what we'll do is if it's inside the 40, we'll blow a penalty. So when I'm watching, I'm thinking, that's fair. That's a fair adjustment.
In theory, it's great.
Then I'm watching goal line 6 again's blown. The refs love giving a 6 again on the goal line. I think for the attacking team, I think it's almost a disadvantage because it's a very, very hard place to start your set.
Yep.
I said about the Dogs a few weeks ago, when they were playing the Storm, some of them 6 mauls they received on the goal line, I would have loved to have just seen them give it back to the Storm and say, hey, do you know what? You bring it out of your end because we're not going to crack you from this close to the line. They get up in your face and it's so hard. So I think if you get 3 or 4 6 agains on the goal line and you can't come up with points, we all know that startles your whole attack for the rest of the match. So then it got me thinking, do you know what, why don't we add from the 40 in, why don't we make that a penalty now? But then I was like, you can't have a 20-metre zone so I was like, let's just get rid of the rule completely altogether.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's a great look for our sport.
Well, this is where we get ourselves in trouble as well, when we have a rule and we keep trying to improve upon it, and then it gets so complicated, I can't even understand it.
The other thing is too, if we go back to giving away 2-point conversions every time they blow them, I think the ref will be a little bit more selective in how often they blow them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a terrible look for our sport. It's obviously sped it up so much, but a couple of 6 agains, and it's interesting because Grant Atkins got the refereeing job on the weekend based on his lack of penalties and 6 agains, and he gives away 3 or 4 in the first 5 or 10 minutes. So yeah, I've had enough of it. I think we should go back to a penalty. I think especially in big games, like maybe over the course of the season, the fans enjoy it more, but in a big game, if Melbourne want to lay all over you near the goal line, you should get the chance to take the 2 every day of the week. So had enough of that one. The other one, which I think is an absolute unprofessional, terrible look in our sport, is the short dropout without consequence.
Okay.
I think you can go short, but you have to practice to the point where if you get it wrong, once again, you can concede 2 points. I watched the game this year. I think it was the Dragons versus the Eels, and in the first 5 minutes, both teams had 2 on both sides, that the kick goes up, and one of them actually went back behind the try line. And they all just, that's okay, we'll all dawdle off back to our position, we'll get a set start in the middle, that's okay. So never in our sport, I think, in the history of our sport, has there been a rule where you just get to, consequence-free, have a crack at getting the ball back. If you want the ball back, it needs to be a skill that you, as I said, you practice it to the point where if you do get it wrong, you're going to be punished. Because I understand why they brought the rule in. I guess they thought it was going to create a really nice contest on the 10-metre line. But once again, even when the defensive team catches it, then they're attacking your line. We've seen the arms waved around. It's just not, I don't like it. It's not a good look for our sport. I don't like that the halfback gets to run back to his position and say everything's okay.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of consequence. So that one I'm probably most passionate about getting rid of.
Did that rule come in, I don't know this, but did that rule come in at all because they do want to limit the collisions of a prop building up from the 40-metre?
I think it would have had something to do with it, but I'm of the belief, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, but I could be wrong. I stand to be corrected, but I thought it was to create another contest.
Yeah, okay.
I think they're about creating contests. Obviously, a flow-on effect would be limiting the collisions, charging the ball back, but I just think it's a terrible look. So the other one is the obstruction rule. Now, I don't know how we get this black and white, but I hate how they always go to you ran at someone's outside shoulder.
Yep.
Because if you're in the box and you think you know where that lead runner was trying to run, I think you're kidding yourself because lead runners don't run at I think they assume that a back rower always runs inside the shoulder of the opposition halfback. There are plays where the back rower leads inside different people. My argument is someone's outside shoulder is the next defender's inside shoulder. So you're making an assumption that you know where he's trying to run. So you're creating a system that almost gives the defensive side a chance to really milk it. My message on this is someone's outside shoulder is the next defender's inside shoulder. There's a lot of plays where lead runners run inside centres. So if they're running inside the centre and then the half becomes affected, they say, well, you've run at the outside shoulder of the half. Well, he hasn't. Because anyone that understands rugby league would know, no, they're targeting the inside shoulder of the centre. So I think the attack should, once again, we just seen a grand final where we want to see attack. I think the attack should get all the advantage in these. So not to the point where they can obstruct someone, because we don't want to see obstruction. And I don't have the answer how to make it completely black and white, because I don't think you can. I think they've brought in these interpretations to make it black and white. But yeah, my final comment, someone's outside shoulder is the next defender's inside shoulder.
All fair points. Can I run some of the common ones which people blow up? Get your opinion on that. The 7 tackle set. Now we saw that with Kamika on the weekend, knocked it on over the line out to the 20. But just in general, kicking the ball dead.
Oh, I don't like it altogether. But I mean, I was a former halfback, so like I'm.
Because that was 2014 or so. It came in.
Yeah, I reckon. And I used to joke with Ricky Stewart. Like Ricky Stewart, I remember he used to, and he's got that arrogance, that halfback arrogance about him. And he used to say, "Hey, Osto, do you know why they didn't bring the 40-20 in when I was playing?" I'd say, "No, why is that stick?" And he'd say, "Wouldn't be fair, because I'd kick him all day long, you know." And I used to buy back to Ricky and say, "Yeah, but Rick, you played against props with 6-packs. We're playing against props with 6-packs, and if we grab the ball 1 centimetre too long over the dead ball line, you can bet your bottom dollar the team's gone down the other end." And I think it's a ridiculous rule. I think I'd like to get rid of it in junior footy, because I think I just think there's so much for the halfback that has to be good at. I think we want to be encouraging our young halves to be game managing, to be a good. The difference between a number 7 and a number 6 for me is the ability to have a really strong, dominant, short kicking game. We're growing up with halves that coaches are telling them play percentages, don't even go for a grubber, just run it into a corner. And we're wondering why we're sort of screaming out for number 7s. Well, number 7s aren't what they used to be, and they're not really allowed to be based on the rules of the game at the minute either. So, as a former half, I hate the rule. I think we've got more pressing rules that need looked at before that one. But, it's amazing. I hate it for golden points periods as well.
Okay.
Because we spoke about the field goals the other week in the Broncos-Raiders match, but, Jamal had one where he's in a position where he knows if he misses, it's going dead. So they're going to get a shot down the other end. Like, that's it. And I know that the halves need to deal with that sort of pressure. But if you look at the other kicks from the Broncos in that game, theirs were more carefree. Like, no one was going to say anything if they missed theirs. And it's not guaranteed to go dead, because I think some of their attempts are 40, 45 out. So, hate the rule. But a few other ones need looking at first.
What about with sticking with golden point, where you have like the automatic right of reply, kind of like in the NFL?
I'm going to say I don't like it.
Yeah.
Only because I'm pretty big on sticking to the fabric of our sport.
Yeah.
I think you get a toss. I think, if you can win a toss, you get the advantage. No one knows anymore whether it's best to receive or kick off. I know Canberra received in the golden point. I know Joey Taps chose to receive, which I thought most teams would have chosen the opposite.
Yeah.
Put them in a corner and let them come out. But yeah, it's really interesting. So I'd say no, only because I'm really conscious to, I want the game to look similar to what it looked like 30, 40 years ago. Now, obviously, it's very different, but I think it becomes more different every year when we tweak with too many rules.
Final one, and this isn't even a rule or even close to a rule. Could there be some type of automatic HIA when players stay down?
I'm torn on this one, because I just think I know that all the viewers at home have an opinion, but if you've been hit in the face, I don't see why you don't have a right to lay down. I get that we lay down for penalties, we have no doubt about that, but I reckon 99.9%, if a player's laying down, you can bet your bottom dollar that there's been force to the head. Now, I don't like that a viewer at home can determine the pain that player's feeling. Yeah, sure, he may be able to get up and play the ball, but if I've been whacked in the head, I'm staying down. I'm trying to get my team a penalty. If it doesn't come a penalty, I don't think you should be punished for that. I like where we've got to in the final series. It's weird because it was only sort of 8 months ago that any tap to the head was, you were nearly banned and out of the game for 8 weeks. Yeah. And then we got to this point in the final series where I think it was reffed with a really nice balance. It was a lot of common sense. So I think if we can stay a little bit closer to the way it's been over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I think we'll see a much better sport. But something tells me over the course of the season, like we start every year with this clamp down on rules, and
100%.
you know, it fizzles its way out by the end, but
Right around Magic Round, that's usually where it finishes.
that's where it finishes because that's our biggest weekend, you know, over the last few years. And so yeah, the game's in a great place. The game's in a better place than it's ever been. I mean, our viewing numbers have shown that, not ours, but the games. But I'm just so proud to, even just to be adding a little bit of noise around our sport. It's in such a wonderful place.
100%.